Another local municipality, city of Lake Ozark, you might have seen a proposed new parking garage.
I did see that, yeah.
Put out over the weekend. It was actually Sunday. Lake Ozark Mayor Dennis Newberry posted to his Facebook page the following. You see his post right here saying, would you support public parking on the Bagnell Dam Strip? Shared parking solutions for the Bagnell Dam Strip are the future. And so he shared this rendering you see right here. And he went on to say, on a single undeveloped parcel, a public-private partnership could increase public parking on the Bagnell Dam Strip by 300 parking spaces, and went on to say the Port Bagnell building shown reflects a new building designed by Midwest Coast that would host retail, office, and residential uses, and went on to say the city of Lake Ozark will continue to promote smart economic development opportunities. And this sounds great in theory, right? More parking, that looks awesome. The rendering, I mean, even if you misspelt Bagnell on it, there's 2 L's and only one. Interesting. We'll let that one slide. It sounds great in theory, and it seems to initially garnish a lot of support from locals. But I'd ask a few questions, Uncle Chris, like, what exactly is a public-private partnership?
Yeah.
That seems to be riddled with red flags.
Interesting, yeah.
Is it public or is it private? Or is it a partnership between public and private that public doesn't have to share information with public? I have those kind of.
Are the private people getting rich off the public tax money? What's going on with that? Yeah, that's a good question.
Weird term. I'd never heard it before. I didn't like it, and it was riddled with red flags as far as I'm concerned. Who would pay for this? When you say public-private, I would assume there's probably going to be TIFs or abatements involved.
Certainly taxes involved, yeah.
Plus, this rendering provided as a solution is from Midwest Coast. I'm interested to know what is Midwest Coast.
Yeah, who's behind that?
Yeah, the company offering the renderings. And is it free? Is it pay to park? I mean, what exactly will it be? So the idea is great, but all kinds of questions. And how much does this actually cost the locals, and how much does this actually cost tourists when they come in? Now, locals also expressed some initial concern, like traffic control and road improvements. Presiding Commissioner Ike Skelton even offered, so long as it isn't government subsidized, sure, which I thought was important, you know, for our presiding commissioner to chime in at that level on the mayor of Lake Ozark's thread. And we had others that thought this might be a bad case of putting the cart before the horse. Now, I find out and believe that Midwest Coast is actually owned by Mayor Dennis Newberry, and the land that it's proposed to be on is also owned by Midwest Coast and Dennis Newberry. I believe that to be correct. And so it's my opinion, just my opinion, that by using his mayoral Facebook page to yield locals' interest in a project and gain support and excitement towards a project like this, while being so vague in details, is a serious conflict of interest. And I also would be interested to talk more with Mayor Newberry about this, because I will be honest, I've been a pretty big fan of Mayor Newberry. I think he's doing a great job. However, I think this was a bad move to put that directly on his Facebook page without giving us more insight. And if Midwest Coast is actually something owned by him and the land proposed for this parking garage is owned by him, while he's putting in terminology like public-private partnership, that to me is got a lot of smoke. And a lot of times where there's a lot of smoke, there's fire. And so I would invite Mayor Newberry on in the coming weeks to talk about this, because he's very active on that Facebook page and he does put a lot of different things on there. But this is something that I think a lot could agree. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that was the best move to put that on that page, and I think others are starting to become concerned.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because you've been Mayor Newberry's one of his biggest fans, one of his biggest supporters over the years. So yeah, this is interesting that we just, let's find out what's going on here. Again, it could be a great thing for the city, or it could be a bad thing for the city, depending on all the minutia, the things going on underneath.